In this video, I will introduce you to everything you need to get started shooting 8x10 instant film. First, of course, you will need an 8x10 camera, and there are a myriad of choices out there, all with different features, so you just need to pick one that suits your needs as a photographer. Next, you will need a processor. This is a Polaroid processor. They made several models, and they are all the same. This one happens to be a Polaroid 8x10 Radiographic film processor, model 8512. It's an old government surplus. Also, they made the model 8112 land film processor. Looks exactly the same with a gray body. And also, they made the 8101. Again, exactly the same, but with a blue body. These are all powered with a universal power cable, but they do have an option of manual drive with a hand crank on the side there. And that crank model 8130. Now, on the topic of manually powered processors, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Calumet manual processor, also the Golden Engineering model 150p. They are considerably lighter, slimmer, because they don't have any motors or anything, all strictly hand-powered. That's a good option for portability if you're doing a field shoot. Secondly, here you will need a film holder. The original film holder Polaroid introduced with this film format was the model 8105. It is pretty thick. It holds the negative and the positive, and it loads directly into the processor here. That model is a little more complicated, and they discontinued it in favor of a newer, slimmer model, the model 8106. Now, this holds strictly the negative, and as such, the processor needs a loading tray to hold the positive when processing. This loading tray is the model 8109, if you can read that, and that just inserts into the loading bay here. The positive goes in the tray, and the negative holder slides in and mates the two together when you process. There were a couple other film holders Polaroid made. They were for radiographic film, which is X-rays. They look like this. Radiographic film cassette. This cannot hold, as is, does not hold standard instant films. This was designed for the Polaroid TPX radiographic film and also Type 803 film to shoot X-rays. It doesn't have a standard dark slide like the other two film holders. This can be converted into essentially an 8106 with some modification, creative light proofing, and I'm in the process of doing that with this one, but those are in existence as well, so don't pick one of those up thinking you can shoot standard instant films with that. And on the topic of film holders, we will go to the film. You can, of course, get vintage Polaroid film, expired. The boxes of 15 cost hundreds of dollars, and can be dicey on depending on how they were stored, but that's an option. Also, of course, the Impossible Project makes instant film. This is their new, recently released 8x10 color film, and also have an expired box of the black and white P-Cube back here. The Impossible films come in a box of 10 negatives and positives to make a total of 10 prints. Now, when getting into 8x10 film, instant film, there are a few things that you should consider. First of all is the cost. I managed to get this radiographic processor at a steal for about $65, but due to the weight, shipping was almost as much as the processor. They are hard to find at that low price. Usually you can get them around $300, $400, $500, depending on what's included, loading trays, film holders, etc. The model 8106 film holder, current prices, I mean, I got this one for $100 about 3 years ago. Current prices, market value now, they sell for over $400. They've gone through the roof. The manual processors, the Calumet, they sell for $1,500 minimum. So those will set you back a decent amount, just based on their portability, I would imagine. The film itself costs, from Impossible, for a box of 10, color or black and white, costs $200 for box. So it's essentially $20 per image. So it's something to be aware of. One final note on the processor. With this Polaroid processor, during shipping, these rollers are the heaviest part of the processor, and they're made out of solid stainless, and they weigh a decent amount. It would probably behoove you to have your shipper remove these and wrap them individually. I've heard that the plastic gears and carriage system can crack in transit if abused by the courier. So that's something to consider asking of your seller. So hope this has been informative. If you have questions, please leave them below the video there, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Hope this will help you delve into the world of what I find to be the most rewarding and also the most captivating of the instant films. Thanks, and happy shooting.